1 year ago, I set out on a quest just to see how long I could survive on a deserted island. And considering it was hardcore, I didn't think I'd make it very long. However, I managed to turn this into this in just 500 days. The journey so far has been breathtaking, with some insane island transformation, some very close calls, some beautiful ocean exploration, and of course classic Minecraft moments. Grab some popcorn and watch as I turn a few dirt blocks into something amazing. Here's 500 days on my survival island. Well, this was a silly idea. It was day 1 on the survival island and I had no resources, no food. I needed to work quickly because if nightfall came and I was unprepared, it would be game over. I made as many tools as possible and prayed that the tree dropped a sapling. And thank goodness me, it did. It dropped 3 saplings which I planted around the island. I then farmed up as much grass as I could in hopes that it would drop seeds to make wheat. I had a turtle on the island to keep me sane while I extended it slightly to make a small farm in which I would plant my seeds. With the farm now complete, that would mean I had an unlimited food source, thank goodness. It was now time to spend the rest of day 1 working on an underground base. By doing this, I would save resources and protect myself from the ghoulish undead late at night. The underground base was finished and I had a full set of stone tools. I was hungry and my wheat hadn't grown yet, so I needed to think fast. I made a sword and headed out to sea to kill as many fish as I could. Yes, I felt slightly guilty because they were just minding their own fishy business, but you know what? I was hungry and there's plenty more fish in the sea. I made a couple of doors and then sealed up my underground base. Now, they were wooden and in hardcore survival, zombies can break them, but it was better than nothing. With no bed and sleep deprivation setting in, I mined all night of day 1 for more resources such as coal and cobblestone. I mean, I just made some stairs to make going up and down the base a little bit easier. You know, I couldn't really do much. I was limited being in the caves all night. Day 2 already, so I decided to aesthetically improve my island just slightly. I added a small cobblestone hut around my cave. It wasn't much, but you know, it's just me on the island. There's no one to judge. I decided to make some minor improvements here and there as well. Now, once again, without a bed, I had to spend the evening of day 2 mining for more resources. I did find some iron, so that was great. And then I just spent all night mining because there was nothing else I could do. Day 3 was the day in which I realized I was going to be stuck on this island alone for a very, very long time, so I decided to work on my farm just slightly to make more wheat because I needed more food. I then proceeded to smelt all the ores from the night before and then made a few iron tools. It was going well. Once again, you guessed it, the night of day 4, I spent my time mining. More mining. There was nothing else I could do on this island. I started to go insane Finally, I'd found some diamonds, which would improve my chances of getting off this island. It's like seeing a plate of your favorite food. The juices, the texture, diamond is just the best. I was in a bit of a better mood day 5, I must admit. Diamonds in the inventory, food in the inventory. You know, things were looking great. I smelted all my ores, then headed into my strip mine to collect obsidian. I mined as much obsidian as I could. I think I'd roughly mined around about 9 obsidian on day 5. Day 6 was a strange one. I was visited by this strange being and he informed me that I need to head to the end because they're being terrorized by a dragon. So I agreed that I was sorted out for him, but I just need a bit of time and resources. If I was to save the end from this dragon, I would need to improve on my fighting technique, so I spent the night of day 6 defending my island from ghoulish spiders and evil drowned beings. I worked my hardest. I was fearing for the turtle's life at this point. I thought there's no way that this drowned monster would eliminate my only friend, so I used my shield to defend his trident throws. No! Oh, thank goodness, he's alive. But then I was attacked by phantoms. They were coming at me left, right, and center. I just didn't know what to do. So I headed into my base just for a second to gather my thoughts. I headed out to try and kill the drowned being, but there was no chance. It was almost over. They could have killed me then. It was just too risky. I decided to eat my food and relax the rest of the night. Whew, that was a close one. I needed to work on something more substantial, a real base. Whilst building, I was interrupted multiple times by creepers. I was so close, but once again, interrupted by phantoms. I was almost finished. What a very, very busy few days, fighting monsters, building my base. It was time to just cool it down, you know, go fishing, extend my farm. I was so proud of how far I'd come in the last few days. I spent the rest of the evening of day 10 inside my main base, watching as my enemies tried to defeat me, but they had no chance. Day 11 was here, and I collected as much wood as I could because I wanted to box in my farm. I just thought it looked weird, just a bunch of soil, like, extended from the island. So I boxed it in using wooden planks and a bunch of fences. This ran all the way into day 12. I aesthetically improved the farm just slightly with stone slabs and torches, and then I just farmed up all of the wheat and planted more seeds. You know, the usual. Again, I was fighting phantoms. They're still a pain in my backside. And then I spent the night time mining as much as I could, but I didn't find any diamonds, unfortunately. Unexpectedly, in the nightfall of day 13, I was attacked by a group of drowned monsters. Now, one of them had a trident, but he just kept hiding away in the ocean. It was really difficult to get a view on him. He tried throwing tridents at me left, right, and center, but he wasn't successful, and then he just fled. He just left me alone. I then spent the evening of day 14 collecting resources and more obsidian. The night of peaceful mining was over, so I decided to build a composter and make as much food as possible, and then I just decided to add a chimney onto my little house. I just thought maybe someone will see the smoke and come and save me. Then the drowned with the trident returned, but stood no match against me and my shield. The dolphins came and helped me out as well, which was an absolute bonus. Without a bed, this was just getting really tough. I bred my turtles together, then headed back inside because I just couldn't do anything at night. I was just attacked by phantoms left, right, and center. Things were looking up. I built a small enclosure for the turtles, and then I decided to flatten the entire terrain for more space. I then dedicated the next few days to building a bigger structure. The house was complete, so I decided to fill it out with chests and workbenches, furnaces, lanterns, and then I decided to head out the night of day 25 because I really needed a bed. I was sick of fighting phantoms. On the day of 26, I decided to build somewhere specifically to grow trees, and then in the nighttime, I needed more string. I needed that cotton, so I headed out to fight those spiders. I was completely surrounded. Zombies, phantoms, but I needed that spider. I needed that string. It was so close though. They all ganged up on me and I needed to run back to my base. My mission was almost successful. I picked up that piece of string and I only needed one more, so I headed out to kill the spider I spotted in my wheat farm. He dropped a piece of string. Finally, I could craft a bed. Yes, my first good night's sleep on the island. I felt incredible. I made a few improvements to my house, made it look a bit more snazzy, and then yes, you guessed it, it was time to face Hell's Gates. I dedicated the next few days to building a space for my nether portal. The portal was complete. It made a fine addition to the island. It was time. I made myself some gold boots, a new shield. It was time to face hell. I was terrified. I never thought I'd live to see the Nether in person, only hear about it in gruesome stories, telling of its evil endless pits and pools of lava. I quickly covered the Nether portal for protection, but I needed more cobblestone. I didn't want to risk losing the portal, because if I had lost that connection between the overworld and the Nether, there was no coming back. I finished off protecting the Nether portal and collected some bone, and then I found this snorting piglin that would barter with me. He gave me some fire resistance potions, which would be excellent for finding that fortress and killing those blazes. The piglin snorted at me, informing that I needed to be more prepared if I was going to face the fortress, so I headed back to the overworld. On the evening of day 39, I decided to head into my strip mine. I wanted to gather as much of the resources as I could. Lapis, coal, gold, so I could barter with more piglins. I found some diamonds along the way, not as much as I'd like though, so I dedicated a few days just to try and find diamonds. I wasn't massively successful here. I only found about 12 diamonds, but it'll do for now. I then dedicated the next few days to making a bow, some diamond armor, and the enchantment table. Being on a survival island was really limiting. I barely had any resources and couldn't build bookshelves with leather, so I went to barter with the piglin in hopes it would drop more leather, but he just gave me a bunch of fire resistance potions. I finally had enough just to level up the enchantment table a little bit. Now, I didn't have the best enchantments, but it was better than nothing. Feeling more prepared, I headed into the Nether. Now, let me tell you, no gear can erase the fear. I was still very, very nervous. Somehow, straight away, the zombie pigmen came after me. Like, I did literally nothing wrong here. Like, I was trying to save them from the gas. Like, I was trying to have your back here. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? So I just headed back and farmed and killed some time, improved my house area, because I needed to wait for the zombie pigmen to cool down. I took a good long look at everything I'd achieved so far. This could be where I lost it all. I was so proud of how far I'd come in just so few days. After treading very cautiously, it seemed that the zombie pigmen had calmed down. Friendship was restored, so I progressed into the Nether, collecting resources, trudging through soul sand. I made small markers with cobblestone and torches to allow me to locate where I had been. I had covered a lot of ground. I climbed up, dug my way down, killed ghasts, taken out skeletons, when finally, after hours of searching, I found the Nether fortress. The very fortress the piglin told me about. I'd done it, so I built a big marker and headed back home because I wanted to grab the fire resistance potions I had. Now, in my journey home, I almost died to a ghast. It was almost game over. Somehow I managed to dodge his bullets. I couldn't get home fast enough. I rushed as quickly as I could, taking out enemies as I found them. I made it back to the portal. It was time to grab those potions. Yes, it was nice to be back somewhere I was familiar, but I didn't want to get too comfortable. I needed to quickly make those gold bars and grab those potions. I needed to head back into the Nether to tackle that fortress. My hands were shaking. It could all end here. The heat radiated from the Nether brick. I made my way very cautiously onto the outskirts of the fortress. I navigated the maze-like corridors very, very carefully. I was hunting for that blaze spawner. I found it. It was time. After extinguishing the blaze rods, I collected all the nether wart, looted the chests, and killed wither skeletons. I had to get out of there, it was too risky, so I made a fiery escape. I dodged the wrath of the ghasts. We made it! Finally, I was home, so I made some diamond boots, enchanted them with protection 3, and made some brewing stands. Now it was time to make a place where I could make potions. The brewing area was finally finished, so I got to work making as many potions as I could. Now, the fundamental potion I needed was an awkward potion, so thank goodness I grabbed as much nether wart as I could from the fortress. I then used phantom membrane to make slow-falling potions. This would help me when I'm killing the ender dragon. I then used redstone to extend the length of them, and a bunch of blaze powder to make strength 2 potions. Wow, we'd come so far. It was time. Yes, you guessed it. It was time to find that stronghold. So I positioned myself and threw the Eye of Ender high into the sky. Feeling well rested and a belly full of food, it was time, you guessed it, to head to the stronghold. Wish me luck. I was pretty emotional, I won't lie. It was the first time leaving the island. The first time seeing mainland. I made a small outpost, took a deep breath. It was time. Okay. I didn't really go to the stronghold. I found a living, breathing animal, so I brought him back to the survivor island, and then I thought, am I going to find some more animals? So I found a chicken. A real-life chicken, which then I could use the feathers to make more arrows. So, you could go as far to say that I chickened out here. Yes, I didn't go to the stronghold. I brought back the chicken and then bred as many chickens as I could. I headed over to explore. I made a best friend. Like, I was really excited that the parrot and me had formed a bond. Finally, a friend on this lonely journey. I spent a lot of time breeding chickens. Like, a lot. I needed as many feathers as possible, and then I used the gravel to get flint. I just needed arrows. Like, there's no way I was taking on this ender dragon without arrows. No messing around. It was time. It was finally time to head into the end and kill that ender dragon. I spent days looking for the stronghold. Days. After an exhausting few days, I think I finally found the stronghold. I dug my way down looking for that mossy brick and I found it. Wow. I felt insanely lucky. I had fallen right upon the portal. Like, what are the chances of that? I then filled in the portal with the Eyes of Ender, but then I realized I didn't have enough. Like, I only had 12 when I needed 15. So I headed back. I quickly headed to the brewing stand, which then I would use the rest of the blaze powder. Oh, I was nervous. It was time. Wow, it was so dark, and there were endermen everywhere. I slurped up my slow-falling potion and witnessed the dragon swipe away the enderman. I was so nervous. I started taking shots, dodging the dragon's fireballs. I had to destroy the crystals. I took numerous shots and my aim was quite impressive. I was making fantastic progress, eliminating those crystals. I couldn't quite hit the last few, so I climbed the towers. I destroyed another crystal and made my way down. Only one to go. I used my water bucket to climb the tower. The dragon was furious. He had seen that I had removed all of the crystals. It was now my time to strike. The dragon could fly no more, so I headed down and attacked the beast. He tried to escape, but my arrow shots and strength 2 potion was too much for him. I did it! I freed the end from the Ender Dragon! I collected all of that glorious XP. Hey, we did it, little guy. I then collected the dragon egg. I made it home. Now it was time to build somewhere to showcase the dragon egg. I created a small storage facility. We'd made it. 100 days. Hello, me again. Before I continue my journey, I wanted to suit up with full diamond armor. This half iron, half diamond just wasn't cutting it. Yes, it was all enchanted, but it just wasn't good enough in my opinion. So I headed to mainland to start strip mining. I thought I'd have a better chance of finding diamonds there. So I made some stone tools, grabbed some trapdoors, covered up, just in case a creeper gets, creepy and blows up and ends the whole thing. I headed into the strip mine and I wanted to get those diamonds. I mean, I was getting really lucky with iron and coal and a bit of gold here and there, but I had no luck with diamonds. I mean, I came across a cave at one point, debated climbing down, but I thought, no, I better play it safe, build a platform across and continue strip mining on diamond level. You're probably as bored as I was at this point, I won't lie. I was coming across some gold here and there, but nothing exciting. I just needed diamond, man. Like, where is this diamond? I come across caves and other places, but I just kept finding gold, which was great, don't get me wrong, but I need a diamond. Oh, MLG moment as well. Look how cool I am. Yep, strip mining continued until day 102. I was feeling a little bit better, killed a creeper, found a cave, and yes, come across some juicy diamonds. Now, it was only a couple, like, it wasn't great, but it was progress. And then this happened. I came across a mine shaft, and I was a little bit out of my depth. I was completely surrounded by the undead. And yes, I had some armor on, but I got a bit shaky, I won't lie. They almost got the better of me, but, I'm getting the hang of things now. I took them all out, cracked some food down my throat, and then I came across a nice big vein of diamonds. Yes, one step closer to full diamond armor. Let's go. Yeah, I was feeling pretty good. I was one step closer to full diamond armor, but not just yet. So I headed back to the island, resupplied, and headed back out to the mine shaft. After ruthlessly raiding the hallways of the mine shaft, I finally came across a nice big stash of diamonds. Look at that. Now, I'd be a fool not to search the rest of the mine shaft, so I continued to do that. I mean, I didn't find a lot, some gold veins here, killed some of the levered up undead, and then I came across some big spiders. Nope, 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 nope. Definitely a nope. So I headed back home because I wanted to make full diamond armor. I got suited and booted with full diamond armor. Woof, look at me. I mean, about time, right? I should have got that way earlier. Now, let me tell you something. You don't get much time to read books when you're trying to survive on a survival island, especially when you're being hunted by pretty much everything that breathes. But what you do need is books for the enchantment table, so that's why I headed into the stronghold to try and find the stronghold's library to upgrade that enchantment table. Now, I think I got a little bit overconfident here. I was ambushed by pretty much everything going in the stronghold. I mean, a bunch of skeletons came out of nowhere, and it got pretty intense. I was blocking their arrow shots. I was striking them as quickly as I could. I realized I needed to hurry up and find that library and get out of there. I stumbled across a prisoner in the stronghold, and he was informing me of a tool I could use to fly. He said I could locate it at an end city in the end, but just when he went to tell me of the city's location, the creeper took his life. I couldn't believe it. I guess I just have to head to the end and find the elytra myself. I couldn't let this stop me. I had to continue my search for the stronghold's library. I needed those books for the enchantment table. Yes! I found the library. No librarian could shush me here. It was time to steal some books. I cleared my inventory and got to work. I had stacks and stacks of books for my enchantment table. I even came across some enchanted books with some great enchantments for my weapons. So I used the end as a shortcut, and look who was there! My pet parrot! So he jumped on my shoulder, and we headed back home. Wow, so much achieved in just less than 10 days. Day 110, I stuck all of my books in my storage facility, and then I debated what I'd do with the enchantment table. It wasn't cutting it being outside. So I headed to mainland, got as much dirt as possible, and then built a small extension to my island. This is where I would build the place for the enchantment table. I grabbed as much cobblestone, smelted it all up. Yeah, you guessed it, it was time to build somewhere for the enchantment table. The build was complete. I was really happy with the final result. I changed armor about halfway through because I didn't want to damage the diamond armor I worked so hard for. Look at that, the enchantment table fully leveled up to level 30. Now it was time to get enchanting. Now, before my armor gets the glow up that it so desperately needs, I just wanted to make some small adjustments. You know, improve the bridge, get rid of that dirt path. I then placed a couple of armor stands inside the building, then used Minecraft trickery to encase them in glass. I then proceeded to disenchant all of my armor. I had a ton of XP from killing the Ender Dragons, so I got to work spending all of it. I enchanted everything. I ended up with some great gear, a great sword, fully lathered up in enchantments. Look at me, I'm so happy. The sun was blazing in the sky, so I took advantage and farmed up as much wheat as I could to make some food. I was just thinking about everything that the skeleton said about that end city, so I headed in the next day to the stronghold. Yes, you guessed it, I wanted to find that flying tool, the elytra. The End is such a sophisticated and complicated place. Yes, there may not be as many threats as the Overworld or the Nether, but the End challenges you mentally. You have to think on your feet. You have to watch the edge at all times. I found the End portal, and I built up and created a platform outside of it just for safety. And then I headed in. Whew. Wow. Just a handful of blocks to stand on. This is crazy. I had my friendly parrots, Chocolate and Chip, but they weren't enough to allow me to achieve my goal. I knew I'd need to have to head back. I needed more building materials to build bridges across. There was no way I was going to survive here with just a handful of blocks. It felt like I had wasted a pearl, but I needed to do that. I needed to head back and grab as much endstone as possible. So I just mined. I chipped and chipped and chipped away at that endstone. I wanted that elytra and nothing could stop me. Here goes nothing. Another attempt. I started building a bridge across. Endstone crumbled beneath me as I sprinted across the End's plains, dodging the Enderman. My only goal was to find that End city. Just when I thought all hope was lost, I found it. This was the most complex and epic structure I'd ever seen towering over me. I knew I had to tread lightly when approaching the End city. I thought I need to use my resources and time carefully, so I decided to head straight for the boat, slurp up my slow falling potion, and make my way inside the End city ship. I was really nervous. The shulkers blubbered and spat at me. The lack of gravity made it very, very difficult to calculate my next moves, but I thought very, very carefully and decided to make my way towards the shulker. No! Chip! I had to get revenge. I continually bashed in the shulker's robust encasing. We'd done it. We had found the elytra. I quickly grabbed Chip's feathers, and I grabbed the elytra from the frame. It was time to skip town. I had to get out of here, so I looted the chest, grabbing some amazing diamond boots, and then the gold, then the iron. I quickly grabbed the brewing stand, and then proceeded to attack the shulkers that were on the top of the ship. I needed the Ender Dragon's head. I don't know why, I just really, really wanted it because I wanted to build something cool with it on. It fell from the ship's tail, so I decided to head down using my slow falling potion. I didn't want to use my elytra yet. I didn't want to waste it. Plus, I didn't even know how to use the thing. I thought I may as well just have a crack at grabbing some more shells so I can make a shulker box. I tried to kill the shulkers out the front, but the bouncers were just too strong for me, you know? They just kept teleporting all over the place and hitting me with their little anti-gravity balls. They're so annoying, but I managed to kill them, and I decided I'd have a go at trying to get to the top. But you know what? I just didn't have time for it. Not enough potions and not enough skill, so I decided to leave the end and head home. I sprinted home as quickly as possible, trying not to look those Endermen in the eye. These guys were nothing like the one that came to visit me in my 100 days. These guys are evil. I think it's because I'm in their home. I'm up in their house, you know? So I just decided to head back home, took a sigh of relief. We'd done it and grabbed that elytra. I took a few moments to remember Chip. Thank you, Chip, for everything you did for me in the end. Rest in peace. I farmed up as much sugarcane as I could to make paper, combined it with the gunpowder to make those fireworks. Now, I had no idea how to use the elytra, so here goes nothing. Well, that's definitely my new favourite thing. I decided to rest and dedicate the next few days to just making some adjustments to the island. I fed the chicks, got a good night's rest, and then I collected a bunch of wood because I had a sort of burst of creativity. I wanted to build a bridge. The bridge was complete and I was really happy with the final look. I just kind of like improv'd it and it kind of looked okay in the end. I was really happy. Day 146 was sort of like a throwaway day. I combined the boots together because I finally had enough XP, so now I had feather falling on my boots. I then went and honoured Chip with his own little grave, stuck the compass in the middle of the bridge, and then I decorated here and there places with the Ender Dragon. I'll do a build for that later. Wow, we'd achieved so much. Day 147 came to a close and I realised the next step would be the Wither. Fresh-faced and bright-eyed, day 148 was here and I knew it would be step 1 in preparation for the Wither. Yes, I wanted to head into the Nether with fire resistance potions so I could grab some ancient debris. Here goes nothing. Whew. All I need to do is just grab some ancient debris, just enough to upgrade a couple of items. It'll take no time at all. Let me just... Wait, what? Wait.
Hello there.
Sparky? Oh, wait a second. Let me just... Okay, let me rewind. No. Further back. Okay, just let me explain something. Here we go. Day 106, I did find a dog way back, and I tamed it, brought it back. I was really happy. Like, I was, like, over the moon. I named him Sparky with a name tag I'd found in a cave. Everything was going great, but then I lost him the next day, and I was like, where's Sparky gone? So I decided not to put him in the video because, well, he was gone. So now we're back up to scratch, and we found the dog that I thought I'd lost. Woohoo! I then put it back in my home, and I decided to continue with the quest. Oh, okay, I'm in the Nether. I cleared the area of the undead, and then I got on with my mission. My only quest was to grab that ancient debris. Now, I wasn't looking to get full armor. That wasn't the intention here. I just wanted to upgrade as much as I could in the time that I had. I was against the clock. I trudged through Netherrack for ages, and I eventually found some ancient debris. It was a good start, but it wasn't enough, so I had to continue mining in the Nether to get that ancient debris. On my way, I also did grab some XP because I'm a sucker for XP. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Things were looking up. The Wither preparation was going really well. I had enough ancient debris to upgrade one tool. I made it home, chopped up some wood like the lumberjack I am, constructed a smithing table, cooked up my ancient debris. I had enough to upgrade one diamond tool, so I repaired my pickaxe and applied it to that. Upgrades, people! I only needed one more piece of ancient debris, so I headed in to grab it. You're not going to believe this. I literally, like, strip mined for days, and it was here the whole time. But anyway, I mined it, moved on, killed the ghast, and made it home. The next step was going to that fortress to get those wither skulls. My game face was on. I made it to the Nether, and then I killed the ghast protecting the path to the fortress. Nothing could stop me. I was unstoppable. I followed my path to the fortress, taking out everything that stood in my way. Ooh, she's a mean-looking beast. Look at her, smothered in lava and my enemies. I drank up a fire resistance potion, headed in to try and find those wither skeletons. I wasn't having much luck. I didn't come across any wither skeletons, only blazes, which was great, don't get me wrong. With my looting 3 sword, I was collecting those blaze rods, and it was quite fun taking them out with my bow as well. I did finally come across some wither skeletons and went to town. My first wither skull. Progress was being made, but now it was no time to get complacent. I had to continue with my mission. I was doing really well. I collected another skull and then navigated the maze-like corridors, tackling blazes, skeletons, and wither skeletons. It was all coming at once. I eventually found my 3rd wither skeleton skull. Now it was time to sprint back home. Don't let that cool sea breeze fool you. You may be feeling a little bit more chilled, but I wasn't. I knew I had to continue with my quest and kill that wither. Now, the crucial step in all of this is getting milk. Yes, I know that's a silly thing to say, but with milk, you're pretty much invincible when you're fighting the wither. I tried to make this really dramatic, but then a creeper snuck up on me. Day 169, the wither was just around the corner. Can I just say thank you so much to each and every single one of you for watching my videos. The response so far has been incredibly overwhelming, and I'm just so grateful. Join the Fueled Army today, hit that subscribe button. If everyone does that, we may hit 100,000 subscribers, which is dreamy. Day 171, and it was time to go cow hunting. This carried on for like a good few days. Like, who knew how hard it would be to find a cow? Literally, all I needed was a 4-legged milk machine, and I couldn't find one. I must have come across like all of the animals except a cow, and then I eventually came across one in the night of day 173 and did everything in my power to protect it. Like, nothing was going to kill this cow. My life depended on it. Simple. Cow in boat, milk in bucket. We'd done it. Day 174, I brought the cow back to the island, and I made a grave mistake. Look at this. Look, all my chickens ran free because I opened the gate, I wasn't thinking, and now I have an island infested with chickens. These little feathered critters. It was time. I headed to mainland, into my strip mine, to then trap the wither there. I didn't want him getting out and destroying my survival island. I mined and mined for days, making an accessible route ready to fight the wither. It was an excessive amount of mining, but I had to ensure that there was no dead ends and I had a fully accessible route. I made my way back, organized my inventory, started to place the wither skeletons, ate a golden apple, and summoned the beast. The undead monster was not pleased, and he released a devastating blast, destroying all of the debris around him. I used my Strength 2 potion and fired as many arrows into the tail of the beast. It was doing great damage. The wither activated a shield which wouldn't allow my arrows to penetrate, so I decided to strike him with my sword. We'd done it! We killed the wither! No time to idle, I had to head back home as quickly as possible, but on my way out I came across a zombie pillager and 2 skeletons. Now I did try and save the pillager, but I just didn't have the potions or the resources. Well, that was awfully dramatic. I made my way back very leisurely across the ocean to the survival island, organised my chests, constructed a beacon. Now, as you know, in our last 100 days, we did pick up that elytra, so it was time to get off this survival island and go exploring. But first, I need to make a quick repair. Using the sticky phantom membrane, I fused the wings back together and had them fully repaired. So now it was time to head out and explore. I wonder what we'd find. I was hoping to find some civilization. I soared across miles and miles of green, beautiful trees, open fields, animals everywhere, and then came across a mountain that was riddled with coal, so I decided to take advantage of it because I didn't have much coal back on the survival island. After mining up the coal, I decided to climb the snowy mountain for a better view, when then something revealed itself just in the distance. It seemed like some sort of hut, so I flew down. I couldn't believe it. This was Greg's brother, stationed here in a mountainside village to protect the people. It was incredible. I looked at all the chests and found diamonds, obsidian, and plenty of food. This place was a real safe haven. I then spoke to one of the guys in a local tavern, and he said I could stay the night. Wow. Fresh-faced, bright-eyed, and well-rested, I was ready for another day on this hardcore journey. I decided to explore the rest of the village. After exploring the village, I had a genius idea. I thought if I bring back a lectern, I could then attain that Book of Mending to allow me to use my tools infinitely. I flew over land and overseas as quick as possible to make it back to my survival island. I then crafted a lectern to take back to the mountainside village. I also needed to repair my elytra because without that, well, we're in big trouble. Feeling extremely determined, I headed back to the mountainside village, lectern in hand, in an attempt to attain that enchanted Book of Mending. Now, with a couple of attempts, I did finally get there, and the villager rewarded me with the special book. I couldn't waste any time, and I didn't want the villager running off with the Book of Mending, so I built a hut around him for efficiency. He did put up a bit of a protest, but he ain't going anywhere. I didn't have the Book of Mending just yet because I couldn't afford it, so I headed back home, got some rest because I'd have to do a lot of sugarcane growing. The next day, I farmed up as much sugarcane as I could to make paper. If I could sell that paper for emeralds, I'd be able to buy multiple books, but I just didn't have enough. So, I just have to wait for the sugarcanes to grow. I didn't waste any time though. I decided while waiting for the sugarcanes to grow to head into my strip mine. Now, you probably already know this from my previous 100 days, but you know how much I love the sound of that twinkly, twinkly XP. I headed into my strip mine and found some more diamonds, which kind of bugged me a little bit because in my last 100 days, I spent so much time trying to find diamonds, and look, within minutes, I found some. Are you serious? Anyways, I continued mining in my strip mine and then stumbled across even more diamonds, but this time, it was quite a large vein. Woohoo! There was no way I was mining all these diamonds without fortune on my pickaxe. The next day was here, so I decided to head back up onto my survival island to enchant my pickaxe. Now, I did use the diamonds I'd find to make another diamond pickaxe, which then I would hope to get fortune on. This story just gets better and better. I got fortune 3 straight away. I couldn't believe my luck. So, I had to take advantage, head straight back into that strip mine, and mine those diamonds. I mined those bad boys up, headed back through my strip mine to see how many I'd collected. 20 diamonds. Let's go! I then found a few more because, well, once you get the bug, you can't stop mining. Another chapter in our 300 days journey. Wow, time to get some rest. Another day, another dollar. It looks like the sugarcanes had finally grown, so I farmed them up and made some more paper. It looks like I finally had enough to make enough emeralds. I also farmed up all of my food because I knew I could sell this to a farmer in the mountainside village. I had plenty of wheat, plenty of paper, the chickens were well fed. Looks like the last step was just to get some rest, ready for the next day because I was going to go get me some emeralds. Whilst on my way back to the mountainside village, I had stumbled across a pillager tower, but I was in no condition to take it on just yet, so I infiltrated through the top and scouted out who I could see. I blocked off the top using wood, and then decided to see if I could find any loot. Now, the loot wasn't the best, but I know I'd have to come back here because there was no way I could let the mountainside village be eliminated. Now it was time to head back to that village, sell me those resources, and get that Book of Mending. I sold everything I could to the librarian and the farmer. I was making big money moves, but then I realized I'd forgotten books. Ugh. So I'd have to head out during the night time and get some leather. Now, I got pretty lucky, but the horses didn't, and I finally attained myself some leather. Luckily, I wasn't too far from the village, so I quickly flew back and made those books. It was time. I finally attained 2 books of mending. It didn't take long for him to transfer the scriptures over. Wow, some serious progress made. The ocean monument was just around the corner. It was time to put the Book of Mending on my elytra, but first I'd have to make it home, and I didn't have much durability on my elytra, so I just crossed my fingers, hoped for the best, and tried to get to my outpost on the survival island. Yes, I finally made it with barely any durability left, so I decided to make the rest of the trip on the boat. I made it home and applied my Book of Mending to my elytra. Oh, I'm so relieved. Now it was time to get some XP. Using my Silk Touch pickaxe, I had picked up some quartz blocks, so I mined them up and got some XP. I then did a little bit of debating which pickaxe to apply my mending to, but in the end I decided to apply my mending to my Fortune 3 Efficiency 4 pickaxe. Let's go! The ocean monument glowed beneath the watery surface, but I was in no way yet prepared to take it on. So I decided to head to mainland, gather a bunch of resources, because 1, I wanted to put mending to the test, and 2, well, I just wanted a bunch of XP. So I got the resources, and I built a mob farm. The mob farm was now complete. I just added a few finishing touches and then got to work killing the undead, collecting XP and all of the goodies that they dropped. But I wasn't finished yet. I needed to connect it to the island. I was really happy with the final result, but the good mood didn't last long. I was ambushed by a gang of phantoms attacking me from all angles. I quickly restored the house that I had lost. You only get 1 life in hardcore Minecraft, and I wasn't losing it today. I took on the creepers that had started swarming the island, and then also the Enderman that was spying on me. Even phantoms were continuing to fight me from behind. I just wanted this to end. The Enderman's menacing face and dropped jaw continued to intimidate me, but I just continued that eye contact to keep him from attacking me. I kept striking, and eventually, I'd taken out the Enderman. The ambush was over, so now it was time to get back to work. My next step for extending my island was creating a potato farm with the potatoes I had taken from the pillagers. It was time to get to work. Wow, an extremely busy few days. I'd finished off the potato farm and the mob farm, a great extension to my survival island. I just ended the night by making some fireworks and getting some sleep. Progress was being made. I put the potato farm to good use and farmed up all the potatoes I could because I wanted to head back over to the mountainside village to get more books of mending. I didn't forget books this time. I quickly located the farmer and then sold all of my potatoes for enough emeralds to buy enough books of mending for my armor. Look at that, some big progress. I headed home, took out the skeleton, and then continued to enchant my entire armor set with the Book of Mending. Also, by the way, you know that skeleton dropped a bow with infinity on it? Do you know how rare that is? That's crazy. So I combined it with my current bow to get one of the best bows you could ask for. That's insane. But then this happened. A zombie villager riddled with disease had spawned on my island. I had to act quickly. I tried to get him back to the survival island, but I just couldn't do it. He was too enraged. So I built him a shelter, headed to mainland to grab some brown mushrooms, because they are the vital ingredient to make the potion of weakness. I would combine this with a golden apple and hope that this would cure the villager of the zombie disease. Let's hope this works. The potion began to work. The zombie's skin crackled and I could see the infection letting off. I think this was going to work, so I just had to wait patiently in hopes that the infection would be eradicated. It worked! We had cured the villager of the zombie infection. I had to act quickly. I stuck him in a boat and headed back to my island to build him a small home in which I would then gift him with a lectern. And in return, he gifted me with a book of mending for just 1 emerald. And if you've caught on, I love the Book of Mending. I was so happy. So I applied mending to all my tools. The next step was to get full netherite armor, but first, a house for the villager. The house was complete. It was a little library for my very happy friend. Look at the smile on his face. I added a little bit of storage in there for him, stuck some iron doors on that bad boy, and took a look at the progress made so far. That ocean monument was just around the corner. But first, I wanted to head into the nether to get full netherite armor, so I made myself some gold boots and headed in. Heading into hell, you have to keep your wits about you at all times. I took on the foes that surrounded my spawn and then headed in to my nether strip mine. I was hungry for that ancient debris. I managed to pick myself up some nether quartz on the way, but nothing would stop me, so I got to work. The pickaxe wasn't working out, so I brought the big guns to town. The TNT explosions obliterated the depths of the nether. Not one piece of netherrack could stand a chance. I got to work scouting out for ancient debris that had been revealed by the explosions, but there just wasn't enough, so I headed back to get some more TNT because it was working great. I headed back and found some more ancient debris, then smothered the nether in more TNT. I was finding ancient debris left, right, and center. Now my only goal was to survive the trip back. I finally made it home. Shulker box filled with ancient debris. It was time to make that full set of netherite armor. Cover me in debris. Look at that. We made it. It was time for the next step. The pillager fight. I knew that pillager tower I found earlier wasn't going anywhere anytime soon, and I had to protect the mountainside village, so I got some rest ready for battle. It was time. I glided over the ocean monument and made my way to the pillager tower. The sun began to set, so I decided to set up camp and scout out for the night. Tomorrow wasn't going to be easy. Sunrise. It was time to take on the pillager tower. I spotted the leader. I couldn't believe it. This was too easy. Using my infinity bow, I assassinated the captain of the pillagers, gaining voluntary exile from the tower. I had saved the mountainside village. Wow, what an achievement. I headed back to my survival island as soon as possible. But I didn't head back alone. A group of pillager scouts had followed me home to my survival island. I had to do everything in my power to defend myself and the librarian. Another wave of soldiers had stormed my survival island, and with just one life in hardcore Minecraft, I had to calculate my moves intelligently. The pillagers had taken over my enchantment table tower, but with incredible accuracy I took out the pillagers. But my bow shots weren't enough. An evoker had summoned Vexes and even more pillagers to storm the island. I did my best striking them down with my sword, and then had to locate the final enemy. I did it! I defended my survival island! The war was over, but our story was far from. Our next step was to face the ocean monument, but before that, I collected a bunch of resources, because you guessed it, it was time to build a place for the beacon. The build was complete, a place to show off my beautiful beaming beacon. But it wasn't just to show off that trophy, it was a place I could use for plenty of storage because that tiny little storage shack wasn't enough. I decided to add a bit of lanterns, activate resistance on my beacon, and then took a little bit of a tour around what I had built. I filled it with chests, furnaces, and more, a place to store plenty of resources. Some serious progress made, but next was the ocean monument. Preparation for the ocean monument began, filling a bunch of buckets with milk to remove mining fatigue, and then making a bunch of potions such as night vision and water breathing. But then I was thrown a little bit of a curveball because a zombie villager had appeared on my island. I treated him with the exact same cure, and then I gained myself a villager. This guy was extremely happy, so I moved him into his new home with the librarian. Look at us, 2 villagers on our island. It was time for the ocean monument. I made another diamond sword with sharpness and headed out. I was extremely nervous. Taking on an ocean monument is no cakewalk, especially on hardcore Minecraft. I slurped up my potions and then headed in. I was hoping to make a hole in the side of the ocean monument so I could dodge the enemies that swam outside. It was time to head in. I took on these fishy foes that were protecting the Elder Guardians, hiding in the Ocean Temple. Depth Strider on my boots gave me a massive advantage to finding the first Elder Guardian. I took aim and fired my bow. The Elder Guardian's targeted laser beam stood no match against my agility. I struck it with my sword and then took aim with my bow, finally eliminating it. I then roamed the rest of the halls and found the next Elder Guardian. Feeling confident in my moves, I aggressively attacked the Elder Guardian, taking its life. I then roamed the maze-like corridors in the temple and found the next Elder Guardian, hiding up in the top of the temple. My power 4 bow was devastating, eliminating the Elder Guardian. I then collected some resources and headed out. I didn't want to run out of water breathing, so I'd come back soon. Whew, I'd done it. I'd taken on the ocean monument. I sorted out the things I collected into chests and got some rest. First thing on my list is to explore the ocean monument that we conquered in the last video. Yes, I managed to take out the guardians, but I didn't get hold of that sponge and gold. So I made myself a water breathing potion, upgraded it with redstone, and then headed into the ocean monument. I jumped in my little boat and then sailed not too far away from the island, took a look at the gaps I made, slurped up my potion, and then I headed in. Upon entry, I was greeted by a bunch of enemies. Now, these guys are pretty easy to take on, but in groups, they can take you out, so I still have to play it kind of safe. I then used my Silk Touch pickaxe, chewed my way in through the sides, grabbed a bunch of sea lanterns because I just love them, and then I finally found the gold blocks, which made me super happy, and I got to work mining them up. Following that, with a little bit more exploring, I found the room full of sponge, and you just never know when you're going to need sponge. It's such a handy thing to have. So I dedicated some time to take all of the sponge in the ocean monument. I then chewed my way back up through the top and made my way back to my boat. Pretty successful. Goodbye, ocean monument. I then headed back to my survival island, stored all of my stuff in chests, and then I just went to have a look around, you know, say hello to Sparky, check out the builds, and then I headed up to my beacon to plan tomorrow's antics, which would be to get a full set of netherite tools. I'm surprised I haven't even got them yet, so I got a good night's rest ready for tomorrow. The sun blazed high in the sky and Operation Netherite Tools began. I headed over to my mob farm to see how much gunpowder I had collected, and well, to be honest, it wasn't enough to make enough TNT. I also didn't have enough sand either, so I headed over to a local island to get ready to mine up some sand. Yay! It was as laborious as it sounds. Yes, I just dedicated an entire day to getting sand, but it was worth it. But then nighttime struck and things got dangerous. I was ambushed by a bunch of enemies. Zombies, creepers, I didn't know where to turn. And then I got a bit too overconfident and almost lost my life, down to just 2 hearts in hardcore Minecraft. Can you imagine if we'd lost everything just 2 minutes in? Whew, that was close. I then flew back to my island and headed home. I then turned all my resources into TNT, and well, although I had like 45, nearly 50, it just wasn't enough. I wanted to head into the nether, and in one foul sweep, collect that ancient debris and make a full set of netherite tools. So I had a little bit of work to go, but it would be worth it. I swear, just stick with me here. Whilst I waited for more gunpowder to make TNT, I started on a side project, and it involved my villagers. Yes, I grabbed as many potatoes as possible because I wanted to start breeding them together. I wanted a community on my survival island. I'm finally gonna have more than 2 friends. I then made some more TNT and then creeped on the villagers to see if they'd make a baby. But I realized they couldn't make a baby because they didn't have enough beds. So I was a nice guy and donated my own bed, gave them a bunch of potatoes, and then finally, they made a little baby villager. Look how happy he is sleeping. I then made some more TNT because I need that for the nether to get that netherite. Look at me being a multitasker and stuff. Before I head to the nether, I just wanted to work on my villager community just a little bit more. So I took me and my buddy here over to mainland. To create a community of villagers, I need a bunch more beds. So for that, I went on the hunt for sheep. And oh my god, look how cute this little puppy dog is. And I eventually came across a bunch of sheep and got to work with my shears. After some serious wool collection, I then headed back to my survival island, quite gracefully actually. Look at that landing. And then stored all of the beds that I had made. I wanted to save them because I was going to build a big extension for the villagers. But not without my full set of netherite tools. Don't you worry, I haven't forgotten about that. So without further ado, I headed to my mob farm, made a bunch more TNT. Then I crafted some fire resistance potions, and then we headed in to the nether. Oh, the nether is still scary. I've got full netherite armor and an elytra, and this thing still is a massive pain in my butt crack. I took on the enemies that faced me as I flew around the nether, and then I got to collecting XP and nether quartz. Because, as we all know, collection of XP is my favorite thing. I then collected a bunch of glowstone because it's my favorite block. Don't ask. I then headed deeper into the nether, and then I wanted to make some space to, you guessed it, place some TNT. I placed rows and rows of this bad boy, lit it up, and watched the explosions happen. The first wave of TNT revealed a bunch of ancient debris. Let's go! I didn't think we'd be this lucky, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. I then continued blowing up the depths of the nether to find that ancient debris. We were on fire, baby. It was time to carry on collecting that ancient debris. I had collected a ton of ancient debris and thought now's the time to head back home. I quickly raced back home, taking on the enemies that faced me on my journey back. I raced back as quick as possible, no time to waste, into the nether portal, back home, so I could make those netherite ingots. I cooked up all of the ancient debris to make a total of 19 netherite scrap. Let's go! I think I had enough, so I headed back to my enchantment church to see if I had enough to make a full set of netherite tools. And well, you guessed it, I crafted a full set of netherite tools. We did it, ladies and gentlemen, finally. Now it was time to move on to our next mission. Whew, busy few days. After grabbing some sleepy time, it was time to continue with my villager community building, and for that, well, I'd need to build an extension. I also wanted to make a cartography table to take on that woodland mansion. But before we start doing that, it was time to grab resources. I grabbed stone, cobblestone, iron, and a bunch of wood, and then, you guessed it, made a start on building a villager community. It's so catchy. I made some finishing touches to the extension, added some stairs here and there to finish off the roof, and then got to work on the inside, placing a bunch of beds. I was really pleased with how the final build turned out. My building skills are improving, no lie. I then grabbed some sugar canes, nibbled on some chicken, and then finally crafted the cartography table, the vital ingredient to getting that Woodland Mansion map. Once crafted and then placed, I then assigned the lucky little villager the role of being the cartographer. But we had a long way to go, yeah. I'd have to do a bunch of trades with this guy. So it was time to get to work, you know, get him potatoes, dealing with the villager. Oh, look, a baby. Dealing with the villagers, and you know, it's just a classic process. I grabbed a bunch of sugar canes, and I just did a bunch of trades, non-stop. It was like back and forth for a good few days. I wanted to upgrade the guy so I could finally get the Woodland Mansion map. I quickly noticed that the villager gives you emeralds for glass panes, and I had a bunch of those left over from earlier, so I headed back to him, made a bunch of trades, upgraded him so he was finally a journeyman, and you guessed it, I collected the Woodland Explorer map. Oh, I was so excited! The excitement didn't last long. The cartographer had informed me that the Woodland Mansion was filled with enemies that could take my life and end this survival island legacy. I told Barry the Golem to look over the villagers while I was gone. I may never return. It's time to head into the... Okay, so a baby villager escaped. Can you believe this? It was just about to get really dramatic, man. Oh, so I made a bow and managed to get the baby villager back into the community. Look at him. He's not even bothered that he ruined that whole hype. Anyway, back to business. It was time to head out and find the Woodland Mansion. During my expedition, I came across some beautiful sights. I had never really ventured this far from my survival island, and man, I don't regret it for a second. I saw so many things. It was amazing. I found this little black cat that I want to tame on my way home. Man, I was in my element. I searched for the Woodland Mansion for days and days. I even found some beautiful underwater areas that I mined up. This couldn't get any better. I traveled across biome after biome in hunt for that Woodland Mansion. After days and days, I finally located the Woodland Mansion. Oh, I was nervous. I set up camp for the night. Things were about to get serious. I waited for the sun to rise. It was time to head in. It could all end here, but nonetheless, I headed in. I found the entrance of the Woodland Mansion and tentatively entered through the doors. The maze-like corridors were intimidating, and my first enemy struck, striking him down. The Vindicator stood no chance. Slash after slash, I took his life. It was time to head deeper into the Woodland Mansion. I stumbled across an abundance of rooms, taking on enemies with every corner, but then I was ambushed by a large group of zombies. They stood no chance. With my full netherite tools, I felt like a beast. I found this little secret room with a couple of name tags and a bunch of gunpowder in. It was time to carry on, taking on the Vindicators and zombies with every corner I turned. I trawled through the halls, room after room, looking for loot, but I wasn't having much luck. I even found this sort of trophy room in hopes to find some lapis blocks, but once again, nothing. I guess I'd have to head upstairs to find more loot. I stumbled across their planning room and destroyed all of their plans. There was no way they were going to find me on this survival island. After taking down an evoker before he could summon Vexes, I drank up my damage potion, looted more chests, and headed deeper into the mansion. But then things got even tougher. I stumbled across an evoker who summoned a bunch of Vexes. They could take my life at any moment. The Vexes had cornered me. It was time to eat some food, regenerate, and head back upstairs to take on the enemies. I finally took out the evoker and the rest of the Vexes. I had to really think strategically about my next move. These guys could take you out in just a couple of hits in hardcore Minecraft. I then took out another evoker, and then I was chased by a Vindicator. He almost took my life, but through courage, I came out on top. I absolutely annihilated the Woodland Mansion. I stepped over the dead Vindicator's body and into this room. It seems they were planning an attack on my survival island. Thank God I got here in time. I carried on searching the halls, hunting for enemies and looking for secret passages. I had my suspicions about this face above the stairs, and man was I correct. I'd located a secret room, but once again it didn't contain any loot, so I carried on hunting the halls. I found a couple of Vindicators, and instead of taking them out, I decided to capture them. I wanted to keep them here to punish them for what they did. They were going to capture my survival island and take out my villagers, and I wasn't allowing that. Whew, I was feeling pretty good. It was time to get out of here. Goodbye, Woodland Mansion. To be fair, you weren't even that bad. I've faced worse enemies. I'd collected a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 totems of undying. Pair that with the ones I've got at home. I've got a ton, man. I was feeling really good. It was time to head back home and tame that cat. Ah, look at me go. But then I kind of made a mistake. I did that thing where I get a little bit too confident, and then this, like, wizard managed to get me with poison, and for some reason I was just panicking. Like, I don't know why. And then I tried to get milk from the cow, and then a couple of creepers came out of nowhere, and I almost died, and I was like, I'm gonna get out of here. Like, I don't want to lose everything. So I managed to fly out and make my way back home. You know what? Screw the cat. Leave him back there. I finally made it back home and got a good night's rest. Serious few days. The next day, the villagers were absolutely delighted to see my return. I'm back, boys! And I come back with a bow. Look at that. Look, I'm such a nice guy. I brought you a bow to make you feel like more of a community. Anyway, I grabbed a bunch of food for myself and then wanted to make a start on my beacon. Yes, I wanted to change all of the blocks to diamond blocks. I didn't expect to have it finished today, but I wanted to at least make a start. So, as you know me and as you know the channel, I love my strip mining. So I headed deep into the caves to search for diamond. Yes, I went diamond collecting. And with this, you also collect XP. I don't know why I'm doing the voice. I even came across some emeralds. Look at that. I haven't seen an emerald block in my whole journey. I then came across a bunch more diamonds. More diamonds. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. Diamonds, 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 diamonds. I found so many diamonds, man. Like, loads. Like, I'm talking loads. I then headed up to mainland to look at how many diamonds I'd collected, and to be fair, I'd got about 14, 15 blocks worth, I reckon, which is a solid start to the diamond beacon. I then wanted to go and explore the end city loot, because I didn't really do that in my last 100 days. So I headed to the end, grabbed a bunch of ender pearls, and headed deep into the endless void. After flying around, I located the end city. Look how colossal this end city structure is. It's beautiful. I flew around the end city and chewed my way through the top to see if I could get some. And I was pretty disappointed with the first room. Just some gold and iron, like it was lame. I then took on a bunch of shulkers, which were pretty tough. I took on the shulkers and managed to get myself a bunch of shells. These would allow me to make a bunch more shulker boxes. I then got into a situation where I just started floating, and I thought my life would end here. Look, I was just floating, and if I didn't kill this guy, like, feather falling's good, but it's not that good, you know? And then I managed to get myself in another situation where I was floating, and it was just non-stop, like, almost death experiences in the end. Oh, Minecraft, just give me a break. I then finally came across a room with some decent loot in. I managed to take the ender chest and the other chest stuff, and then kill a bunch more shulkers. Pretty successful in my books. It was time to head back. Whilst on my way back to the portal, I decided that I'd try and find another end city to see if I could find one with a ship, but I didn't have much luck, to be fair, so I decided to just head back and head home with chocolate from my last 100 days. Rest in peace, Chip. We haven't forgotten you, bro. I made it back home. But my little buddy didn't come with me. Oh well. I made a bunch of diamond blocks, got some rest, and then the next day, got to work adding the diamond blocks to the beacon. It was a solid start, and I was hoping if I had enough days by the end, I could finish the beacon off. Look at that. Pretty neat. I then crafted a bunch of shulker boxes with the shells that I'd collected from the end. I made about 5, 6 shulker boxes. Like, I'm pretty solid for storage now, I'm not gonna lie. I then crafted a cup. Wait, we have a cat now? I then crafted an ender chest, stuck it in the castle, then headed over to my villagers to plan my next steps. Yes, I wanted to make a bunch of paper trays, and for that, well, I'd have to make a sugarcane farm. So I collected a bunch of sugarcanes, a bunch of resources, laid the ground for the area, and then got to work making the sugarcane farm. It was pretty straightforward. Couple of hoppers here and there, bit of sand, bit of water, bit of sugarcane, couple of pistons, then some observers, a sprinkle of redstone, and then you just put some glass around it to make it look pretty. I had an abundance of like random blocks, so I used them to build the casing, then I slapped a sign on the front, but I realized I could make more money through other trades, so I just thought I'm gonna have to upgrade this sugarcane farm if I'm actually gonna make some decent paper and decent emeralds. So I headed back over to the sugar farm, planned it all out in my head, and then got to work upgrading. I'd built a 3-tier sugarcane farm, which was pretty decent. It makes about a stack every couple days, which you can't argue with. This, with wheat, I'd be rolling in emeralds, man. I was feeling pretty good. Even though it had been a short amount of time, I grabbed the sugarcane out of the chest anyway, then got to work trading with villagers. I also made a bunch of lecterns and gave all of the villagers random jobs. So I had a bunch of like sort of enchantments that I could add to my stuff. Pretty good progress. Look, whoa, you're all staring at me. What a solid few days, man. We'd accomplished quite a lot on this 400 days journey. This is my survival island, and this is what it looks like after 400 days in hardcore mode. 500 days is a monumental chapter. We make some serious upgrades, including multiple farms, epic builds, and even a diamond beacon. But as you can see, the last 100 days took its toll on my tools and armor, so I'm gonna head into the nether day one to grab some XP and put that mending to good use. I just had a complete brain fart and forgot how to jump. It's kind of embarrassing. I have like no fireworks left either. I had spent more than enough time in the nether and all of my tools were pretty much repaired, so I decided to head back and make some more fireworks. I had a look at my sugarcane farm and realized I may have sugarcane, but I have like 0 gunpowder. So I headed underground to start collecting resources to construct a creeper farm. Now they're pretty simple to make, but being on an island, collecting resources is kind of difficult, plus other things involved. But I need that gunpowder. So I headed underground and started getting to work as fast as possible. I started collecting... Wait a minute. Much better. Now, let's get to work. Hey, diamonds, let's go. I spent the next few days collecting wood and all the other resources I needed, grabbed some sleep, and then the next day got to work finally building the creeper farm. Yo, the view from up here is wild. Okay, so you throw down a couple of chests, cover them with hoppers, then smother them with campfires to kill the creepers, and then the next step is to create a tunnel system in which the creepers will fall down to their doom. Now that the foundations were finished, it was time to work on the inside of the farm. I used trapdoors and slabs to ensure nothing but creepers would spawn. And we're done. I just used slabs on the roof to make sure nothing spawns, then jumped off and crossed my fingers that it would work. Oh my god, it's so ugly. Look at it. Hopefully this thing works. Spent enough time building. Oh no. Oh no. Oh! Thankfully, the creeper farm was working, so I decided to leave it for a few days, then check back and see how much gunpowder it had collected. And oh boy, were we in luck. Stacks and stacks of gunpowder. So you're probably wondering, why the obsession with fireworks? You have nowhere to be, Coffee. You can chill out on your island. Well, you're wrong. Okay, I have plenty to do and only 100 days to do it. My next task is to build an XP farm, and the stronghold is very far away from here, so I needed the fireworks and a bunch of other materials which I'll need to construct the XP farm, which I now have. So let's head over and do that. Yep, whilst I was flying over the ocean, I realized I was missing 2 of the crucial ingredients, name tags and wool, so I headed underground to find a mine shaft to get my hand on a name tag, which proved to be quite difficult. I trawled through the maze-like corridors in my hunt for the name tag, but I had literally no luck. The most I did was almost kill this little puppy dog, and whilst I was feeding him chicken, it turns out he's already been tamed. Where did you come from? I'm going insane. Still no sign of a name tag, and I was growing very impatient. Oh, look, it's that stuff I really need. Oh, they grow up way too fast. Get it? Because he was small 2 seconds ago. This was like the biggest mine shaft ever, but after loads of time searching, I finally came across a name tag in a chest. Let's go! The next step was to get my hands on some wool, so I headed out with my elytra on my hunt for some sheep. I wasn't too far from my survival island, so I was hoping to squeeze these little dudes into a boat and head home. Oh, this is annoying. It's nighttime and I'm surrounded by mobs. Yeah, say hello to my little friend. The next morning was here, so the sheep and I crammed ourselves into this little boat and headed home ready for the next step. Nice and peaceful. I know, right? I made it back home, led my sheep to this poor excuse for a farm, took some wool, then put down a grass block in hopes that it would spread, grow grass, and he'd eat it and grow some more wool. But this didn't seem to be working. Slight change of plan, I decided to extend the farm just slightly and start working on an automatic wool farm. It's pretty straightforward. You make a small cage for the sheep and then dig underground, make some space to place storage, some rails, minecarts with hoppers, lead the sheep in, and then when it grows the wool, the shears in the dispenser will cut the wool and it'll all lead into the chest. I hope. Any minute now. So the farm worked like a charm and I'd be collecting wool with peace of mind, but we weren't out of the water just yet. I need approximately 2 stacks of carpet to efficiently build the XP farm, and 1 automatic wool farm isn't going to be enough. So I decided to take the time to upgrade the farm for all the animals and add a bunch of sheep farms so I could get as much wool as fast as possible. However, I need a lot more dirt if I'm going to extend this survival island, so I grabbed myself a shulker box and headed out. Oh, I'm gonna have to drain that ocean monument at some point, aren't I? Ugh. Operation Island Extension / Farm starts day 421. So, let's get to work and collect some dirt. Wait a minute. Better. Okay, so it's been a couple days and I have stacks and stacks of dirt, but I'm not done yet. I want to collect way more just in case I'm going to need some to extend the island. Okay, so I'm all done. Time to grab the beacon, head home, extend my island, and start working on that sheep farm. Okay, time to collect the finishing touches. Wait a minute. I haven't seen mobs on this island for a long time. I forgot torches. Thought it would be cool if I take all my dogs and kill all the mobs on my island, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty invincible. Okay. Oh, what the? I added some texture and walls to the extension, then got to work on my automatic wool farm. It was kind of annoying because I had phantoms attacking me most of the time, but once it was finished, it was time to head out and grab some more sheep to take home. Oh, I slipped. This took forever and a day to make it back, I swear. That's so creepy. Round day 427, I finally had enough sheep for the farm, so I brightened up the place with a little bone meal and let the little guys in. Now the annoying part. Okay, so it's pretty simple. They climb the ladder, and then they should fall in. I know, you're probably saying, use stairs, Coffee. Well, I want to use ladders, okay? Oh, it's working. It's working. Okay. Now I just need to... How is he not... What? How are you not fitting? You're just floating in midair. Let me try... Okay, round 2. Simple. You're in. Now I just need to slide in there. Tap. Place. What? Are you serious? Finally, after way too much time, I managed to get the sheep to fit. Is it gonna work? Yes! Oh, let's go! 3 hours later. Okay, so now all of the sheep are in their farms. Now we just have to wait. Day 530 and I was making some decent progress. I left the sheep farms for a couple days just so I had enough wool to make the XP farm. Day 432 and it looks like we have a ton of wool. The automatic wool farm was a complete success as well. I had unlimited amounts of this stuff. We're almost there. I just need to head into my enchantment table room and name my name tag. I'm not going to do anything like beg for subs or anything, you know. I grabbed some paper, gunpowder, made some fireworks, and headed out towards that stronghold. Whoa. Ow. Okay, let's get to work. I found a nice spot, headed down towards the void, grabbed a bunch of leaves, and started building outwards to start working on this XP farm. Okay, now I need to place a bunch of hoppers. So these will catch the ender pearls, and this little contraption will drop them so it doesn't lag my world. Now it's time to head up a couple of blocks and start working on the tunnel system in which the enderman will drop. I also use a bunch of carpet so endermen don't spawn. They'll only spawn on the top level. I need to build 13 of these rings, so I'll see you in a second. Now I just need to fill in the top level. This is where the enderman will spawn. Okay, this is slightly terrifying. I'm placing down some trapdoors so the enderman will fall, and then I can move on to the next step. Now I just need to build a small cage so I can place a rail, a minecart, and spawn an endermite so it will draw the enderman to the middle. Ow. An endermite finally spawned, so I slapped a name tag on him, squeezed him into the minecart, then the next step was to dismantle the cage and then sit back and hope the farm works. Okay, I think it's working. Farm's all done, so I headed down. Tons and tons of endermen were spawning and falling down the tunnel. This is dropping so many ender pearls. Yo, the amount of XP I'm getting for this is insane. I'm telling you, this did not get old. I spent days cutting down endermen, watching as my XP bar filled and filled. Take this, you sons of bitch. Ooh, level 100. Success! Time to head back. I hope this is gluten-free, otherwise I'm going to drop one in my pants. Next day, I headed over to my grabbed a bunch of potatoes and baked them up ready for my next task, which you'll find out shortly. But first, we'll need TNT. So I grabbed some gunpowder, headed to my storage castle to see if I had any sand left, and I had barely enough for just a stack. So it's time to head out and get my hands on some more sand. I got to work collecting sand. Wait a minute. Nah, I'm only joking. Wait, why am I drowning? Oh yeah, I'm underwater. I collected a bunch of sand, so now I had finally enough for just about 6 stacks of TNT, which was perfect. I headed back home, grabbed a good night's rest, and then day 441, I headed into the nether. You're probably wondering what I'm doing here, so let me explain. I'm going to use the TNT I have to explode the nether to get some ancient debris to craft some more netherite armor. Then on my way home, I'll kill a bunch of wither skeletons, use their heads to form the wither, kill the wither, get a beacon star, craft a beacon, then build something really cool to store all of it back on the island. Oh, and the deflection. Let's go. I did get a teeny little bit distracted though because I noticed a bastion on my way, so I decided to head over and start exploring it. I cleared the area of mobs and then started exploring the chests and stumbled across some ancient debris. I couldn't believe it. Hey, yo, I hear a lot of piggies. I used my impeccable archery skills to eliminate the piglin, then continued exploring the bastion. Then I was feeling kind of chilly, so I took a dip in the lava. Definitely not an accident. I had no idea why I was so scared of bastions. I was flying through this thing like there was no tomorrow. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, this was just too easy, bro. I wasn't stressing. I had quite enough of the bastion now, so I decided to head out and try and find a good spot to start exploding the nether. And on my way, I did come across a fortress. I killed a couple of wither skeletons in there, but they didn't drop any skulls. And to be honest, this entire fortress seemed pretty dead. So I decided to ditch it and continue my hunt. Oh, wow. Okay, this is like the worst place to land. And I can't jump. Okay. Oh, I'm good. I found these guys making a 5-minute crafts video with string, broke it up, and then convinced them to head out with me and kill some hoglins to get some meat. Thank you, you ugly pigs. I departed from my new friends, then concentrated on the task at hand, exploding the nether. I grabbed all the TNT I had crafted and started placing it down, whipped out my flint and steel, and watched the chaos. Spent the next few days obliterating the nether. I was collecting ancient debris left, right, and center. I trudged through tons of netherrack to make space for the TNT. Ooh, nice. I hadn't touched grass for a very, very long time, but it didn't matter because I was getting my hands on tons of ancient debris. I was feeling pretty lucky. Also, I thought I was completely covered in lava. A stupid mistake, but it seemed to be one that could end my life here and now. I couldn't believe it. Somehow I survived the entire ordeal and just sat there burning. Oof, that was a close one. With every explosion, more ancient debris was revealed, so I got to work collecting. One step closer to another set of armor. Again? Are you serious? Getting drenched by lava again? How do you make the same mistake twice, Coffee? Seriously, just quit, man. I was running out of TNT, so I was using it pretty chaotically to explode the nether. It was a fun few days, and I'm pretty sure I collected enough ancient debris to craft a full set of armor. By the end of the whole ordeal, I had found 37 pieces of ancient debris. Pretty good. On my way home, I stumbled across the biggest fortress ever. Time to grab those wither skeleton heads. I headed in James Bond style. Nothing could... Oh, right. Okay. I got to work killing wither skeletons, but then things got pretty intense, so I decided to take a breather, head out, and then head straight back in. I was ready to fight. This right here is why totems exist. A fatal mistake, but I was resurrected by the totem. I continued my task at hand, taking out wither skeletons, and I finally got my hands on one wither skull. Oh my goodness, look how many wither skeletons have spawned in this one area. Sorry to break up the party, boys. The second wither skeleton head and the third wither skeleton head. Time to get out of here and head back home. Oh, it was nice to be back on the island. 3 wither skeleton heads, let's go. Okay, I gotta pick these back up now. I grabbed myself another totem, then got to work collecting resources. I grabbed a bunch of wood and stone, and don't forget the resources left over by this monstrosity. I then got started on that cool build I mentioned earlier, but then I ran into a bit of a problem. I'm gonna have to try and drain this thing. I grabbed a bunch of sponges, and then started placing them down. Okay, I'm definitely doing this wrong because it is not draining the water. Come on. Hey, yo, SpongeBob, come on. Do your job, bro. I decided to just fill it in with stone. Ooh, now that is very satisfying. Let's get to work. was complete. I left space for the netherite armor and, of course, the giant diamond beacon, and then added some finishing touches. And then, whilst the ancient debris was cooking up, I decided to check in on the villagers. Well, it seems everybody's pretty happy with the current situation. Day 453, lightning struck and a bunch of these guys turned up in Civil War. I didn't even have to do a thing. They just killed each other. Then I snuck in and grabbed a horse of my own, which is quite a flex. I've always wanted one of these things, so I stored them inside the castle. I made a bunch of netherite ingots and then headed inside the castle. Ow. But I wasn't going to make the netherite armor just yet. I wanted to finish off the diamond beacon. Now, I did have a little bit of a head start, but I had a long way to go. So I headed into the end and used the XP to repair all of my items. Now I just had to grab myself a shulker box and lay the foundations for the diamonds I'm going to collect. Let's go. Wait a minute. Hey, yo, I recognize them.
I built a small enclosure for the turtle.
Oops. Alright, time to head underground, start getting my hands on those diamonds. Should be pretty straightforward. I excessively strip mined through Deep Slate and it took forever. Hey, yo, what is this? I continued mining until I finally came across a cave. Alright, I don't really know what to do here. Oh, is that a baby zombie? That's a baby zombie. Okay, I'm gonna head down and take him out. Okay, one down. Oh, and another one. Alright, you little fills of killers. Excuse me, Mr. Enderman, have you seen any diamonds around here? No? Okay, so... Oh, there it is. The first one. Alright, come to Pappy. And you as well. I don't think you're getting away. With the power of transition, I will eliminate you both. I told you, no one stands between me and Premiere Pro. I was making good progress. I was exploring caves, finding diamonds here and there, and then I just concentrated on strip mining up and down levels in my hunt for diamonds. What is that? Hey, yo, check out my speed bridging skills. Do I still got it? Not really. Okay. Oh. It was day 458 and I was still mining for diamonds. I've seen like 5 mobs in this entire mining trip. Like, have they all just disappeared? Ah! Of course the diamond's on the other side of the pit of lava. I was making good progress. Okay, I've never, ever seen this in my entire life. I decided to head out of the caves and back to strip mining, and when I tell you, it was the best thing I did, because I was finding diamonds left, right, and center. Listen to that beautiful twinkle. Oh, it just never gets old, man. I even found some diamonds underwater, which were tricky to get to, but I got there in the end. All right, let's see where we are. All right, couple of stacks, but we still got a long way to go before we can get that beacon. Time to ramp up the speed. Jesus Christ. I had been mining for hours and hours and hours. I only needed a handful of diamonds left. This was it. The final diamond. I'm pretty sure I can build a diamond beacon now. Let me check. Oh, look at that. Like a full shulker of stacks of diamonds. The best thing ever. I headed up top as quickly as I could. Hey, yo, I'm pretty sure that chicken's been there since, like, the first 100 days. It was good to be home. I had spent days and days and days getting all those diamonds. So after a good night's rest, I headed up to the top of the castle and started crafting the full diamond beacon. I was in awe. This thing looked amazing and was a perfect symbol for the amount of hard work I'd put in to finish off the build. But I still had to get a beacon, and for that, I'd have to go and kill the wither. So I grabbed myself some glowstone, nether wart, and began making potions of strength so I could take on the wither. I made 3 strength 2 potions, and then the next day headed underground to begin setting up the fight for the wither. Day 490, and this seemed like a pretty good spot, so I turned my shaders on, placed the wither heads down, and then began the battle. Alright, you big ugly 3-headed beast, let's see what you're made of. I started driving bow shots into the base of the wither. Ooh, you do look good with shaders on, I'm not gonna lie, but still I'm gonna have to take you down. I continued driving bow shots, but then the wither became invincible, so I had to use my sword to do some finishing strikes, and then finally I defeated him. Whew. You know what? That was pretty easy. I said pretty easy. I said pretty easy. I don't know why I said pretty easy so much. Oh, no, wait a minute. I think I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm actually lost in my own strip mine. I headed back home and crafted the beacon and then placed it down on that mountain of diamonds. The beam burned through cloud, and then I placed a diamond in and activated regeneration and resistance. Woohoo! One of our goals completed, a full diamond beacon. Now it was time to craft that other netherite armor and put some of the best enchantments we can get on it. So I headed over to my enchantment church and then started enchanting all of my items. I spent a good couple days doing this, and I ended up with protection 4 on pretty much the whole set. This would be perfect backup armor in case the one I'm wearing breaks. Alright, another goal completed. I dedicated the next few days to just finishing touches. I tidied up the old beacon and then placed the remaining diamonds I had. I then started working on touching up my island by building a wall around the entire perimeter. This way it would keep my friends from escaping and mobs from getting in. It was pretty much a win-win situation. I cannot believe the progress I made in just a handful of days. It was time to get a good night's rest. So, whoa. What the? Dude. Get out of my bed, bro. I have no idea how you escaped. I'll deal with you later. Before my time was up, I did want to build some sort of boat or a ship or something in the ocean. So I decided to get to work building a small, comfortable, humble little boat that I could do a bunch of fishing on. Alright, the boat is finished. I just want to hop up here, and I just want to finish off the chimney so it looks like the boat has some sort of engine, I don't know. With the boat completed, I whipped out my fishing rod and just spent the whole day fishing. I then got a good night's sleep, and then the next day, I wanted to expand my island just slightly. You know, I think I'll turn this into some sort of Zen garden in the next 100 days. Whilst placing the dirt back in the chest, I noticed I had a bunch of name tags. So, you guys can comment below what you think I should name some of the animals. I mean, you should name this horse, name this puppy dog, that chicken, this sheep, anything you want. So much accomplished. Extra netherite armor, a gunpowder farm, a fully completed diamond beacon, an XP farm, and a ton more on my island. It's hard to believe I started with just a small patch of dirt. Man, I've had so much fun making this 100 days for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. My name's CFG. Peace.